Hey, how y'all doing? We back again with another episode of It Factor, man. I'm your host, Jeremy, man. As always, we got a new person with me today, my brother, man, Chris Jackson. How you doing today, man? Introduce yourself. Yeah, man. Go and introduce yourself to the good people, man.
Yep. So, hey, everyone, I'm Chris Jackson. Went to Clark Atlanta University, transferred to Georgia Tech, majored mechanical engineering, and graduated in the spring of 2019. Been in my role with Rockwell Automation since August of 2019 as a automation technology consultant. And thankful to hear from one of my good brothers from back in the day, Mr. Jeremy Robinson. And let's get to it.
Yes, sir, man. So yeah, man. Basically, it start off with so what made you want to go to Clark Atlanta University, and then further, go to Georgia Tech?
Sure. So I was originally recruited to go to Clark Atlanta on football scholarship.
Mhm.
And I was debating between them and Presbyterian College at the time. But really what kind of drew my final conclusions was seeing that Clark Atlanta had a transfer program that could get into Georgia Tech, and I'm already in state
Mhm.
versus, going to another college out of state and traveling back in state to Georgia and doing that whole fiasco. So I went with Clark Atlanta, and I took the football scholarship that was offered to me at the time, as well as academic scholarships to pay my way through, and did the 3-2 program. So it was the dual degree engineering program, and applied to Georgia Tech and got accepted there to finish that mechanical engineering degree.
All right, man. So what was the difference between, CAU and I would say a Georgia Tech? Like, what's the biggest difference?
I would say the knowledge. So the knowledge that you have to know in engineering school in general is very different than like the experience that you get from liberal arts colleges or things of that sort. So when I first went to tech, I was struggling because, I had been challenged at the old college at Clark. However, it was a whole different wave when you get
Right. Your next school,
Yeah, so it definitely took an adjustment period to kind of get the hang of things and assimilate in. I would say another major difference was you're not around just one ethnic group as what you would, in the HBCU life. Tech was predominantly Asian, so we have like a lot of Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, and Japanese people at our school. And then, the other majority is white. And then I think we're the minority of the minority of the minority of the college. So, yeah, I think there was more Africans. When they broke it down, there was more Africans and even more Native Americans than there was Blacks.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Well, for you to be able to pursue through that, man, you the guy for the job, to be honest, man, because I kind of think I could have done it, but to be honest, when I saw it, I was like, Chris, you going to Georgia Tech? I'm like, all right, Chris could do it, bro. Like, it ain't gonna be no problem, man, because I know.
It was a struggle.
Right. I know, man. I went up to Northeastern, man. That thing kicked my butt, man. It's the, like you say, it's the adjustment. There's just like, dang, this how school is. Why it's like this? Yeah, school, no matter where you go, but it's kind of one of those, a lot of different factors happen when you go to these predominantly white schools. You be like, wait a minute, like this what I got to learn? And it's 80 people in this class? Wait a minute, like, what I supposed to do? Like, how I supposed to talk to the professor, man? So I would say, what are some tasks you do weekly at your job now that being at Tech and CAU, kind of what did you pick up in college that helps you with those tasks now, even what you're going through with your program now?
Sure. So going through college, I would say that tenacity factor. Because in my case, I was working full time in college and going to school full time.
Right.
And at Clark, I was working 3 jobs full time before going to Tech and just, chopping the other 2 and saying, yeah.
Yeah, nah.
what transferred over into the career, I would definitely say, is that tenaciousness, that tenacity factor to just want to get after it.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge wise, as we know, it's like you only use like maybe 3 to 5% of what you learned in college, and you have to relearn everything. Because manufacturing definitely wasn't taught like that in our school. Even at Tech, I think there was like maybe one class or two classes. So that's the main thing I would say I carried over from college into the career field is wanting to get after it and just remaining hungry and keeping that drive factor. But some of the things that occur in my day-to-day role would be a lot of customer heavy engagements and interactions.
Mm-hmm.
So as a technical consultant or technology consultant, I am our customer base's main advisor, as well as a main advisor to internal account managers or people who have a network base with Rockwell or through Rockwell via our distribution network and things. So when it comes to utilizing Rockwell Automation technologies and seeing if it's an applicable fit to a company before they install it, they would kind of come to me, right? Because I would be what's considered pre-sales. So you would maybe see an account or a customer that says, hey, I'm looking to spend $2 million in Rockwell products. Is this stuff going to work with what I have, or is it not? And, it will follow me to make sure that all of their technologies and applications are competent and applicable to what they're trying to do for their use case and what they're trying to do with our technologies for that use case. If it's not possible, I will also be the person to tell you, look, you got to go somewhere else.
I was just about to say that. I was like, I know you be telling people, look, they ain't gonna work. Just no software, nah, dog, it ain't gonna work. But what you can do is, so you that guy. That's a good job though, man. That's not that. I mean, it's probably high stress, low stress. I mean, stuff that happens, but it's kind of one of them. I can see you doing that. Be like, look, you can buy this, but you may not need it. You say $2 million though, because I know you think about it like, you wouldn't spend $2 million on this. Okay. I can sell this to them, but it's good though to see that you one of them people that to say, nah, they ain't gonna work for you. Even though it's bringing money to the company, it's like, nah, I ain't gonna sell you short, man, because that's gonna come back on me.
Exactly, because people look at that. At the end of the day, if I was to step into a store, right, I would want somebody to keep it real with me and say, look, Chris, that ain't it. Like, what was you thinking? Or, hey, that's real, what I'm saying, and just remain transparent about it. So I've brought that same ethic and that same, behavior pattern into the workplace where I just keep it real with people, and that seems to be something that everyone loves and appreciates.
Same. I do the same thing, man. They be like, Jeremy, you think you can get this done? Yeah, give me some time, dog. Give me some time, man. It's gonna take me some time. Like, oh, okay. My boss is like, I would say I got a raise because of that, bro. I told him straight up, like, he's like, the reason why I like you, man, you can balance multiple things, but you'll say something when something's wrong. I'm like, yeah, I don't know everything, man. Y'all know it all. Y'all got it. Because what we forget, and even being a black man, I had to learn, like, it's nothing wrong with not knowing, like, or knowing something like it's like cool, but I'm gonna learn it though. I'm gonna learn what I need to learn to get ahead. And that's kind of how I go about my job. It's like, why lie to you and say, yeah, I know what I'm doing all the time, then be like, no, I don't know.
Yeah, when it comes down to that pressure, it's like, oh man, you constant. Did you know this, Jay?
Right. I ain't got time for that. Nah, I had enough of that in school. But that was school. You can finesse. But
yeah.
Right.
I don't know if we can finesse this. They put a paper trail on it.
Right. It would be a nice phone. Hey, Mr. Robinson, look, come to my office. Like, nah. Now we virtual too? Nah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, man, I would say this next question gonna get you. I always wanted to know this. So, how you balance football, dog? Working your 10 jobs, because you had more than 3. You ain't playing with me. And being smart as hell in school, man, because you was a genius. Like, you saved my life in Cal 3, bro. Like, you saved my life, bro. Really. So how you do that, man? How did you do that?
It kind of goes back to that drive factor, man, to say the least. I kind of had a very rough background growing up in
Yeah.
things like abusive household and homelessness and poverty and things like that. So especially to get through college, I knew that I never wanted to be in a position where I'd be facing those same difficulties or challenges again.
Mhm.
So I made sure to ensure it never happened again. So whether it took, working at nightclubs as an armed security guard, to doing armed security at strip clubs, to working at Moe's on Clark's campus, to Uber, to Lyft, to, all the other jobs that I worked, it was just that same, I know where I came from and I know where I don't want to be. So this is what I'm going to do to ensure that all I see is up and never looking down again.
I got you, man. 'Cause I always want to know that drive factor because my guy was like doing all this but having fun, but he just say, I know you always had that grind and still do to this day, man. That's even when I see you doing stuff, I be like, proud of Chris. I don't expect nothing different. And that's the thing. I don't expect nothing different from you especially, but a lot of people we went to school with, a lot of people we all go through our things, but I'm with you on that. Never want to not be able to do the things I know I want to do and be like, look, I got to go back home. Nah, nope, not doing it. And there ain't nothing against it. It just, no, nah, that ain't it. That ain't me. That ain't for me.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like life brings you to people that have those same type of mentalities too. Like, nah, I'm not going back to the crib. It's nice, great. Nah, nah, no more. Nah, y'all got it.
As the old saying goes, it's just like real, no real. So your circle changes and it starts to appropriate to people who think similarly to you, and like-minded individuals start to surround your circle. So that definitely also helped just kind of keep me hungry, because there was certainly times where I was unmotivated and didn't want to do things right. But I'm thankful for people like you in my circle and others from Clark and Tech who just had as much passion and hunger to get through it as I did.
Yeah, man, I'm glad. I can remember our talks, dog. I was like, look, we gonna get through it. We go through the same thing. That's the thing that people don't understand about us and us as being black. A lot of things that we go through, they're asked about them, and I get into different talks now because us being work from home and the things that are going on in America to the black people and to all our people, it's just the fact of a lot of people at work reach out, like Caucasian people, all type of folks reached out to me after the thing happened with George Floyd. And I was sitting there like, how do I approach this? How do I talk at work? Da da da. And I just told him, man, straight up, like, how I felt, da da da. And I straight up talked, I was like, man, I'm from South Georgia. I've been dealing with this since I was a child. So, I was a single parent home, da da da. I can tell you it all. But it didn't like prime who I was gonna become. It's like, hey, that's just a part of life. So I wouldn't come to work. When I come to work, I'm working. Like, I'm going to grind it out. I'm going to take a break now. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to take my break. But you ain't going to know that, though. But I'm going to outwork you, and I'm going to keep it going. But there ain't no – why other races think it's a competition. It's not a competition. It's like, look, I'm just going to work hard. I don't even want to do you. But I'm a competitive person. Play the whole sport. What you expect? Like, what you expect me to do? So I follow you on that, man. So, man, what's your future plans in your career? Like, what we got next?
Sure. So I intend on trying to stretch this out for the entirety of my career within the role that I'm in. I've seen some of the challenges and some of the sacrifices that you have to make to climb up more and more and more in corporate and things. So it's like, it's a matter of, okay, do I want this money, right? Or do I want the work-life balance and the happiness sustained as long as my pay is increasing every year and things? And it's like option two for me. It's like, I'm happy with the role I'm in. I'm happy with the responsibilities that were given to me. And I don't see a challenge in trying to maintain that and be very customer engaging and forward focused. Especially in sales, it's almost as if you're your own manager when you're in corporate and things. The only time you'll hear from your action manager is if your butt's in trouble.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like when it comes to making my own schedule and things, I'm in control of that. I'm in control of the business that I bring in as well as the business that I leave out and whatnot. So it has a lot of those features and capabilities that I would require that, you may have to look for other jobs to get and whatnot. So I'm definitely happy with where I'm at, and I see myself staying there for the foreseeable future. Um, if if I change any, then it's just going to be even more customer engaging as well as technically oriented, but maybe even on a larger coverage or a larger scale than the responsibilities I'm accountable for now.
Man, that's a blessing, bro. Like that's a blessing to like your role straight off. Like, don't get me wrong, I like being a developer, but over time, it's like, hey,
Oh yeah, it gets
you know, move
annoying.
on to something else. You know, You know, I've been told to be a consultant though, bro. Like a young lady been reaching out to me. I got to mentor some kids, and she does that for IBM. And she was saying, "You'll be good at it." Da da da. I looked into it. I'm like, "Yeah, I might be good." I was like, "I'm gonna talk to Chris Jack, and I got a couple more friends to do the same thing. I'm like, let's see what this is. You know, if I want to do this, because you know, I'm working to become a college professor, bro. Cause that's my last role right there, dog. I think I'm gonna stay with that for a while. Cause I come to realize like it's simple for me, bro. Like that would be so simple for me to do that, bro. I promise. I like to talk. I like to
Oh,
teach
you
people,
love to
help
talk.
people learn, help
I
people
know you
learn.
like to talk.
Right, help people to learn. So that'll save my life right there. But I'm thankful to hear that, man, because the last two people I had on here, you and a young lady I went to high school with, she said the same thing about her job, and I was like, I'm thankful for that because I had over some 20 some episodes. And a lot of people's like, I want to move into this, I want to do this, then I want to do this. It's like that's cool, you know. Everybody had a different path, but it's been good
Yeah.
to hear that. Like, not only is it a good company, it's like I like my role, bro. Like good at what
Mhm.
I'm doing. Hey, if that changed, it changed. But if it don't, I wouldn't even care. You know.
Exactly.
And you
It's
learn
just
it's
like,
not about the money only. It's like, yeah, the money gonna come. I ain't
oh yeah,
worried stressed about that. In school, that's the first thing I would think about. Like, we gonna make a lot of
exactly. In
money.
school, it was just about how do I get to the paycheck. But then, after being in this role for a year and some months now, it's like that whole mentality changes because you'll get offers, that you'll get six-figure offers, very high six-figure offers. But at the end of the day, it's like, what are you going to sacrifice for that six
Right.
figures
What's the
or even
contribution to
eight
that 6 figures?
figures or more?
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's that work-life balance and remaining flexible, at least in corporate, where, 1 year you might be staying in Houston, the next year you might be staying in Japan, the third year you might be staying in Milwaukee, the fourth year you could be in Cleveland. And that's just too much movement for me,
Mm-hmm.
uh, with the amount of movement I've already experienced in life. So, kind of just standing like a rock, or, remaining grounded like a rock
Right.
and saying, hey, I'm fine where I'm at. I'm enjoying what I do. I'll keep continuing to do it and do my best at it. If an opportunity arises that falls in line with the values and things that I hold important, then I'll evaluate and see if I want to take that opportunity. Versus college, as you said, was, oh yeah, like give
Mm-hmm.
me that guap. Okay, nothing else matters.
He said, I gotta work. What? Okay, cool. We can do that. All right, cool. You know. But now it's like I'm a man now, dog. I ain't want to do that. I like this place. I like this weather. I like this going on. Cool. I'm gonna do
Right.
that. They're like, you wanna move? No, nah. For me to move, you gotta pay me $1 million. Like, pay me
Oh,
a meal.
man.
Drop a meal on me. I move every month. I move.
And it's like I moved, I started my role in Atlanta, was in Atlanta 16 plus years,
Right.
so Atlanta was all I really knew. So making that jump to Houston by myself, it was like, oh gosh, you're excited at first, but then those following months, it's like, you got to deal with things. You got to deal with trying to assimilate to a new city and then make friends in the new city, which comes with loneliness and all of that other stuff. And then you throw COVID on top of it, all the other factors. And now you're just like, dang, man,
So it's like I
and
got
it chose that year.
I just got here. Why this had to happen? Darn. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to, keep repeating that now that I'm establishing myself in Houston and building my credibility and things. I want to, kind of just sit there and
Figure it out.
kind of just live it out.
Gotcha. So what's your it factor, man? Why you do what you do?
I do what I do for two reasons. One, it's to continue chasing the grind in specific, because that's a flame for me that'll never go unlit. I live by a quote by Milton Berle, which is, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. And I always believe you should consistently and constantly have multiple doors of opportunities that you're setting for yourself as well as setting for others, right? So, as we know, at least in corporate, it's making some changes now, but there's still a lack of overall diversity. I want to see more people like me, more people different than me coming into these same roles. Because right now we don't see a lot of that. You know, it's either black or it's white, right? But it has to be more than that. We got to think bigger picture. Because if these are the things, you know, down the line, once, you know, a new college grad gets over the change in tax brackets
Yeah.
and whatnot, you know, these are going to be the things that retain them or make them want to stay employed in specific locations. You know, if you put me in the middle of uh, Kansas and there's like no people there, and I'm the only, in my case, black person in an entirely white, you know, office, then I'm gonna be more inclined to say, hey, you know, after time, if a better opportunity arises where it's a more diverse background, I might take it. So we want to try to, at least for me, eliminate that, you know, kind of get to a point where it's camouflage in the building. Like it's black, it's white, it's Dominican, it's Puerto Rican, right? It's Haitian. Like it shouldn't matter. It's Japanese, it's Chinese. I want all of that to be in the same area instead of having to fly out to Seattle,
Right.
you know, to do that, or Cali to do that, or go to Milwaukee to do that, or Houston to do that.
Yeah,
So
man.
that's my it
I'm with
factor.
you on that, bro, because that's kind of how I started the show. That's why I want to be a professor, man. And that's why I went into the profession I went in, because I decided to take the high road and say, you know, it's easy to say, you know, I'm just going to leave, bro. Like a couple months in, I could have left GM. Like, there ain't no
Mm-hmm.
black people here, bro. Don't get me wrong, bro. Like, I'm the only black guy on my team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and to do the work that I do is like, sometimes it's kind of hard to try to reach out to an Indian guy or a white guy and be like, bro, I don't know
Yep.
what I'm doing. But if I was hitting you up like, Chris, I don't know what I'm doing, he'd be like, well, look, we come to the crib, we gonna learn how to do this together, you
Yeah,
know.
we're gonna knock this out.
So that's like you saying, that's gonna make kids want to. That's why I started a show too, because you're gonna make kids see this and be like, dang, they doing this. Can I reach out to them, give them their information?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is how we can do it, and it'll make you see like, oh, that's what y'all majored in college, yeah, and that's how we work. But I want them to get to a workplace too and see us too. Like just
Exactly.
being one guy ain't enough, man.
It's
Or
not,
a
because
young
one guy
lady, that's
can't
not enough.
represent everyone, right?
You
Like
need
one guy
representation.
can't be the black president for corporate America. You know, we should have something where everyone's belief systems and values of same ethnicities, different ethnicities is valued and taken into account or whatnot. So I'm definitely with you on that on all accords. And
Yeah.
you know, at least for us, I looked up a statistic from the US Census as well as some labor bureaus. And I came across a piece of information that said in the engineering world, so you know where we're at, only 4.8% of overall engineering employment is Black or African American descent. 4.8%, but we make up 12% of the overall country. So it's like disparities like that make me say, man, this ain't it. Like, this is not okay. So how can we influence or change the thought processes of some kids that are trying to get into these fields, right? Because right now all they hear is engineering. Nah, I heard it's hard, or I want to be an NFL player, I want to be an NBA player, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a lawyer. So I got to do med school of this, right? But you know, that's not really broadening the horizon or showing them the true potential and opportunities out there. So kind of like you, at least showing these kids that, hey, we out here. Like we're not just talking to talk. We out here doing this every day.
Every Monday through
Out in the
Friday,
background.
sometimes on Saturday, we out here trying to
Oh
make
yeah.
it happen.
Trying to grind after it every day.
Hey man, my wondering process though is like when you get to the like going into the next question. So you got the Rockwell, right?
Mhm.
What you had to go to Boston, right? First, I think.
Well, 2017, I interned with them in Milwaukee,
Milwaukee. Okay.
Wisconsin. Then 2018, I interned with them in Boston, Chelmsford,
Right.
Massachusetts,
Okay.
which Massachusetts, which is only like 15 minutes from Boston. And then I accepted my full-time role in Alpharetta um, for the first 6 months, and then got moved to Houston, Texas, permanently. So it's been a lot of history with Rockwell from 2017 to going on 2021 thus far.
What made you stay?
Well, one of the things that made me stay was one, I had my initial interactions with Rockwell first,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I started looking at other jobs, especially when it came to seeking my full-time employment, I wanted to see what they had to offer in terms of values and support systems and things like that. And some other companies had some important things like, pay, but they didn't have other things that I valued, such as a work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
If I choose to work, 8 to 4, my day's done at 4. I don't have to do, 8 to 12 or 8 to 1 a.m. or things because, a factory shut down or a plant shut down. When my day is done, my day is done. And then again, having the ability to choose what days, if I want to work those days or throw stuff on my schedule, that's, I have that power to do so. So that was something that definitely made me look heavily into Rockwell over the years. Another thing I would say is it's such a broad base of knowledge that you have to know. It's like insurmountable. So I can't just be centric and focused on Rockwell Automation and say, oh, I'm a nerd when it comes to Rockwell. I got to be a nerd about everything. So if that came to knowing like a competitor's market, if that came to knowing like Siemens or ABB or Honeywell, I got to know their products too, because the first question the customer is going to ask me is, well, how does Rockwell match up? Why is Rockwell costing more? You know, how long is this going to last? Does this tie in with the products I already have? So it's always a build up of knowledge. It never stops. So I'm always learning, and I love that. Especially being able to do it without having to continue education and get like a PhD or something to do so. It's like you learn this over the years on the job and whatnot. So these were definitely things I took into account. Was just like that, again, that broad wealth of knowledge that you have to get, and understanding that you can't just get that in one day or one class or something like that. It's going to take years of experience. Furthermore, job security. The people in my role now, they stay in their role 40 years till they retire and things. So that was something I definitely looked into, was like, am I going to be the person who has to change jobs every 5 years, or am I going to be the person who says, hey, I'm happy where I'm at? And I like option 2 better, where it's like, hey, I'm happy where I'm at, and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Shoot, man, that's another reason I went into tech too. Believe it or not, like I was saying that when I was making my questions up to talk to the young man, me and the lady was going back and forth, and I said, the guys need to look into job security, and that's why I went into computer science and to engineering, because a lot of jobs we apply for, we may be that token. You be one person, like you said, a lot of things. You may be one black guy. This may happen. But what I really thought
Yeah,
about was like, okay, that doesn't matter. It's like what matters is, am I going to be able to stay here, and am I going to be able to thrive? Am I learning?
exactly.
And it's like, oh, they don't do layoffs like that. Okay, great, I can stay here. Or oh, they don't do this. Okay, great. All I gotta do is do my job. Okay, cool, and do a little bit more. Okay, man, that's good, because
Yep.
it's not about being comfortable. It's about knowing what you want, and also knowing how you're gonna get to it. And if a company
Exactly.
can't help you with that, you don't need to be there. Because like
Yeah,
you said, man,
I
you don't never
completely.
want to be in a point where you like, am I gonna get laid off? Or am I gonna not have a job? Well, especially these times, a lot of people should be
Yeah,
asking those questions. Because it's like, okay, if you're looking for another job, like I'm always looking for new opportunities. Don't get me wrong, like it is what it is. But it's just my life. That's my path. But I
Exactly.
still won't have a problem staying at gym. Like, is it happening? If I stay there another 2-3 years, I'm like, great. I'm still gonna be professing by then. But still, like when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. You know. So,
Exactly.
but I don't have to be like, oh man, my job over. What's gonna happen?
Yeah. You don't feel that rush or that stress factor to just, oh, okay, well, let me gonna have something on the back burners right now. So in case
Right.
2-3 years down the line, they wanna, switch it up, then everything.
Slides. Bro. I love it,
Yep.
but I love it, but hate it, man. It's always got to be something, but it's fine. That's why we got editing people. So, so nah, man. So I will ask too. Um, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. So from your experiences, and I kind of got a little perspective on it, as you said, um, what would you say is your it factor, one? And then secondly, what made you start the show? Two. And my last question for you, of course, is wanting to go into teaching as your profession for college students and things. Will you have a bias? Like, would you be more so pushing them towards certain companies or corporations, or would you kind of more so base it on like their passions and things of that sort?
Mm-hmm. So with the first question, man, my it factor is I believe in that service is a big thing. Like we are put on this earth to help people. Like we do that one thing in our life that we supposed to do. That's our
Yeah.
blessing. But everything else for us to be a blessing to someone else and to help other people, man. So my it factor is helping as many people as I can and in any form, shape, or fashion if I can do it. I'm a person take the shirt off my back and give it to you. I always want to be that person. So that's my A factor. And then on top of that, I would say the reasoning behind me starting this show, man, I just wanted to see that black face, dog. Like me programming, me being in school, like I never saw a black guy, bro. Like not even saying you got to be on here and do code tutorials because I thought about doing that at first. I was like, this is gonna be boring. I don't know how to angle that. I'm
Yeah.
a coder, but I ain't the best coder at teaching code. So it's like, what I'm gonna do? And then I thought about it, I said, let's have a conversation that somebody can tap into. And
Mhm.
these conversations can save you from you didn't got a bad grade and you look at somebody and said and be like, he did the same, man. I'm gonna reach out to him.
Exactly.
So I always want to be that person you can reach out to. Then I also want to just support my homies, man, my friends, man, because y'all are doing great things. And people ain't seeing this. That our people are doing that, bro.
True.
Like you
That's so
said
true.
earlier. Like it's folks, man, we done played ball, I done did it all. It's like, cool, great. I got videos of that. Why don't I have videos of what I'm doing now? Or why can't I just explain like, okay, look, the reason behind me leaving corporate America behind ain't because I got fired from my job. I don't like my job. It's because we do face injustice, but I made these videos so that I can show you some of the good times of, hey, this is what you can do. This is how you can succeed. And bro, to be a professor, this gonna help me, bro, being a professor. Because I'm gaining knowledge not only from you guys, but I could bring y'all into the class. Like, you know how many
True.
like lectures I sat in at
Mm.
CAU, at Northeastern, and now at LSU? That I
Mm.
wish that it would be a guy that looked like me sitting up there saying, oh, I work at
Mm.
Rockwell, dog, and I do this. Oh, yeah, I had a hard time at Georgia Tech, man. I love Clark way better, man. But look, school to
Mm.
school, I can explain it to you. If I'm seeing you do that, that's going to make me be like, I want to stay here. It's a reason why I need to stay here. And
Yeah.
again, on the piece of staying in the school, man, like, I ain't going to push you into no job, man. I don't
Hmm.
believe in doing that. But I will set you up with the best opportunity. So I don't know how I want to do it, Chris, but even with you guys, I definitely got to stay in touch with you guys and keep the show going once I become a professor, because I want to show them the different professions from this show. Like, hey, this is what you can do. I got this friend, they in this. You know, you can reach out to them, and we stay in contact with them to build up like a small program that was kind of like we had that. Yeah, they had scholarships and a certain jobs, but what they didn't have was this piece, the piece of saying you can choose what one you want. Anyone you want, we gonna get you in the door. You gonna get hired. It ain't no more, you know, what's gonna happen in the interview. We gonna set you up, tell you how to interview. This is how you need to structure your resume. This is how you should do it. If that's what you really want to do now. Oh yeah, I want to work for Boeing. All right, now I'm gonna get you on the phone with somebody that's been there 5-10 years, and they're gonna help you get it. You know, no more of that being afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone. So that's why I want to be a professor, because I want to show kids that they got to do what we did, man. Don't be scared to step outside your comfort zone and be the first. Like, never be scared to be.
Never be afraid.
Like, in a lot of our families, bro, like, I know my family, bro. I had one person that does a tech job now, bro, like, been doing it for a while. Everybody else, they teachers, work somewhere, do something.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with those professions, but it's like, why not be the difference? Like these 6-figure jobs, they here for you too. But it's not all about the money. It's about building up a road to everybody can come and follow that same path. Like, oh, it's a great path too. It's like, whoa, I can do this, this, and this, and all I got to do is this in school. It's like, so that's why I want to be a professor, so that kids can see, oh, Mr. Robinson did that. Oh, he ain't staying alone. Why you? And I explain, I ain't staying alone because I want to be able to help you guys. But I do have friends that are in the field. No more of that. This is theory. This is what we doing in school. This how it's go. The classroom gonna be way different, man. I'll pull in somebody like you to teach a whole lecture on something that you do at work, and they'll be like, "Wow, how did that?" and fit it into the program. So it's like, that's why I'm going to school to get my MBA now, because I decided to go get a business degree so that I can kind of show kids how to set their lives up, like how to do it if they want to do it now. I ain't pushing, like I said, I ain't pushing nobody into it. But I'm like, hey, you should learn about credit cards. You should learn about how to buy a house or how to get a car in the correct way, or how to functionally start paying on your student loans so that you won't be hurt when you come out of school, man, and have to jump into a job versus going into a job you want to go into.
I agree with that so much.
Thank you for asking that, man. Like, you know, I'm passionate out here. I'll be like,
oh yeah,
I definitely
like-minded thinkers, man.
Yes, sir, man. So, you have anybody you want to shout out? Anything?
If you know, you know. I didn't come with a long list of people to shout out or anything, you know. Shout outs to anybody who's watching the show. One, because you're getting a lot of exposure, and like, again, Jay, like what you're doing is just amazing, dude. And it definitely influenced me and made me like, hey, man, why you didn't hit me up and put me on the show yet, dog? You know, so.
It was coming, man. It was coming. I got you a notebook.
But yeah, I just want to shout out anybody out there who's grinding, for sure, because it's a nonstop thing. You know, shout out to all the people who have side hustles and side businesses, or, you know, utilizing their careers to also help expand their sources of income, or getting them to what they want to do and not, you know, what they have to do. So kind of moving out from, I need this job, to, oh, okay, I'm working here because I want to work here. So shout outs to those people, because they don't get enough recognition.
They don't. We need them on t-shirts. We need to see. We need it on t-shirt right there. Because that is true, man. And I would thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being the light you are, man. You don't know how much you're doing for people, bro. People are seeing your stories, the crazy and the good, the bad and the ugly. all both of us, man. I say all that to say, man, you're doing great things, man. And
I appreciate
keep being blessed, man, and just keep it moving. And thank you for the show, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Take it easy, bro. Have a great day.
You too.